and welcome to VOSR International, the Voice of Shortwave Radio. I'm your host, Wavecrest Guy. This broadcast is being transmitted by WRMI, Radio Miami International, in Okeechobee, Florida, on both 9455 and 15770 kilohertz. This broadcast is also being transmitted by Shortwave Radio in Lower Saxony, Germany, on 3975 kilohertz. So we'll start out the broadcast with some announcements. First off, I have been working on getting some guests and having some segments here in the future coming up. And so far, I do have a few people lined up, and hopefully you'll be hearing those in upcoming broadcasts here shortly. And I just want to let everyone know that if you want to be a guest, if you have an idea for a segment, just send us an email over at VOSRINT@yahoo.com. That's VOSRINT@yahoo.com. And it's really easy to do, and we'll try to get your segment on the air. Everybody, there's a lot of listeners out there that have a lot of information that they can pass along, a lot of help to fellow SWLers, and we can get that information passed along over the airwaves here at VOSR International. Next, remember that we do have our past broadcasts of VOSR International available to listen to. I always make them available right after they are done airing on any of our frequencies. So it might be a couple weeks after the first air date. But you can go over to our website at VOSRinternational.com. I've got a page on there for past broadcasts. You can also go over to my YouTube channel at Wavecrest Guy. I have a playlist there of all the VOSR International broadcasts, and that is always gets updated, so you can catch them as soon as they're available by going over there. Sometimes propagation doesn't work out. Sometimes you can't get on a Kiwi SDR or something like that, and things just don't work out time-wise. But you can keep up to date, especially since I do some segments that have 1 or 2 or 3 parts to them. So if you miss one of those segments, you'll want to head back so you can catch that broadcast. Also, we are always looking for reception reports, communications about the show. Let us know what you're thinking about some segments. If you have comments or ideas for different segments, if you want to do a segment like I had mentioned, send us an email. The emails coming in are the only way I could tell that anyone's out there listening. So it really does help to get those emails in. Sending reception reports, and again, send them in as often as you'd like, because it really helps me out in knowing how propagation is going. With the change of the seasons, it really makes it difficult sometimes. Some frequencies do better than others and at different times. So it really helps when I get those reception reports. So keep those coming in. Send them into VOSRINT@yahoo.com. That's VOSRINT@yahoo.com. Or you can head over to our website at VOSRinternational.com and click on the mail icon and contact us that way. Next, don't forget to check us out and keep updated through our groups. You can head over to Reddit. We have a group over there, Grundig Shortwave Radio, on Reddit. You don't have to have a Grundig radio for that. All brands of radios are welcome. You can post reception reports, comments, questions. You can also go over to our Facebook page at VOSR International. You can join over there also. That one is starting to get some people joining on, and they're posting receptions of the show. They're also posting receptions of other programs that they're listening to. So you can go over there and check out what people are listening to on their shortwaves. Again, on Facebook, it's VOSR International, and on Reddit, it is Grundig Shortwave Radio. And of course, lastly, is our website. I try to keep that updated with the listener map. When we get the communications coming in, I'll put a new pin on the map for new listeners and get that updated. Also have a page for radios, our listener radios. You can head over there and see all the other great radios people are listening to and listening to the broadcast on. So a lot of great pictures. So keep sending those in. It's great to get those on there. it's nice. You can flip through and see what everybody else is using and see some of the nice restorations that people have done on some of their radios. Also, we do have some merch there. You can go over to our merchandise page and help out the broadcast by you could purchase a coffee mug or a hat or a shirt. So go check it out over at VOSRinternational.com, and you can click on the merchandise page. I also have the past broadcasts on there, like I had mentioned before, and I also, for when I do segments, history segments or segments about equipment or radios, I will have a page for that segment that you can go over, and it'll have links to videos. If it's of a radio, you can see the radio in action. I'll have some videos over there. I'll have some links on where you can get some products that I do mention on the broadcast. And I'm not affiliate for any of this, so you don't have to worry about that for links. But I will have some videos and some more information on there on some of the segments that I do on here on the broadcast at VOSR International. We have been getting quite a few more emails about equipment. The segment on the antennas has been very popular when I talked about the K180 WLA and the K40 480 WLA antenna. Those segments did bring up a lot of questions and a lot of communications, so that's great. Send in if you've got communications or if you've got questions about certain antennas. If you have an antenna that is working really great for you, let us know. People love to know what equipment is working and where you're living at and how it's set up, because it makes a big difference for people when they're living in a town or when they're away from a lot of noise pollution and things like that. So keep all the information coming in on anything that'll help some of our listeners, and I will make sure I get the information passed along on our website and on our broadcast. All right, now on with the show. And now we'll have another segment of historic shortwave radio broadcasts. Now, this broadcast, and a lot of these broadcasts I'm going to put in these segments were definitely broadcast over regular broadcast radio, AM radio at the time. And they also would also go out on shortwave radio. So they did go out all over the world. And what they were trying to do here in this one for today's segment was get it to go out over to the Pacific because it is Harry Truman, President Truman at the time, announcing that they dropped the atomic bomb on Hiroshima. So they wanted to make sure that this went out to the Pacific, and it reached everyone, wanted to reach everyone as much as they possibly could throughout the world. This one is somewhat of a short broadcast. It's only about 3.5 minutes long, but I'm going to go ahead and play it here now. And this is from August 6th, 1945, and he's speaking from the ship USS Augusta. President Truman announced that the United States dropped the first atomic bomb on Hiroshima on August 6, 1945. So here's the famous broadcast from President Truman announcing the dropping of the atomic bomb on Hiroshima.
A short time ago, an American airplane dropped one bomb on Hiroshima and destroyed its usefulness to the enemy. That bomb has more power than 20,000 tons of TNT. The Japanese began the war from the air at Pearl Harbor. They have been repaid manyfold, and the end is not yet. With this bomb, we have now added a new and revolutionary increase in destruction to supplement the growing power of our armed forces. In their present form, these bombs are now in production, and even more powerful forms are in development. It is an atomic bomb. It is a harnessing of the basic power of the universe. The force from which the sun draws its power has been loosed against those who brought war to the Far East. destroy more rapidly and completely every productive enterprise the Japanese have in any city. We shall destroy their docks, their factories, and their communications. Let there be no mistake. We shall completely destroy Japan's power to make war. It was to spare the Japanese people from utter destruction that the ultimatum of July the 26th was issued at Potsdam. Their leaders promptly rejected that ultimatum. If they do not now accept our terms, they may expect a rain of ruin from the air, the like of which has never been seen on this earth. Behind this air attack will follow sea and land forces in such numbers and power as they have not yet seen, and with the fighting skill of which they are already well aware. We have spent more than $2 billion on the greatest scientific gamble in history, and we have won. But the greatest marvel is not the size of the enterprise, its secrecy, or its cost, but the achievement of scientific brains in making it work. And hardly less marvelous has been the capacity of industry to design and of labor to operate the machines and methods to do things never done before. Both science and industry work together under the direction of the United States Army, which achieved a unique success in an amazingly short time. It is doubtful if such another combination could be got together in the world. What has been done is the greatest achievement of organized science in history.
One of the misconceptions about the atomic bomb, and especially when after we dropped the second one on Nagasaki, was that that was all that we had as far as bombs to be dropped, which was true. But as President Truman mentioned there, when they were doing that whole project, the whole project was set up to put in production these to be able to make these bombs as we needed them. So it would not have been long at all before we had more bombs to drop. So it actually just worked out, of course, the way he had wanted it to. I'm sure he, of course, wanted to only drop one, but after the surrender of Nagasaki. But after dropping the second bomb on Nagasaki, and the Japanese did surrender, so we did not have to continue that campaign. Now, for this address, President Truman did want to use shortwave technology at the time, so the service people over in the Pacific would be able to hear the broadcast. And again, of course, it did go out across the continental United States through regular AM broadcasting. And then, of course, it was picked up by other mediums in shortwave. The BBC actually also broadcasted this also on a recording. So it did get spread out throughout the world, and at the time, shortwave was one of the best ways to get that message out over that long distance. I will put some links over on our website at VOSRinternational.com, so you can get the complete speech from Truman if you want to hear it. It also gives quite a bit more information on what was going on at the time and how the information was being sent out to everyone. So it is really interesting. So I'll have a page set up over there about the atomic bomb, and it'll probably be labeled the Harry Truman atomic bomb speech or broadcast. And you can go over there and check it out if you're interested. There's quite a few historic documents and historic recordings that you can check out on this. And then, of course, we will have some more historic broadcasts that we will be putting on the air here at VOSR International. So let us know what you think. You're a history buff. Do you enjoy these historical broadcasts that have went out over shortwave? let us know. Send us an email at VOSRINT@yahoo.com. That's VOSRINT@yahoo.com. Or you can head over to our website at VOSRInternational.com, and you can click on the mail icon and send us a message that way. And now, on to the mailbag. We'll start off with Adrian from Malta, a regular listener. And he has been having some luck with the 3975 kilohertz over being broadcast from Germany. And then he's also had even better luck on 15770 kilohertz on Monday at 1600 UTC. The time works out better for him, and propagation seems to have been better during those broadcasts. So I'm glad that was able to work out. And that was just actually a filler that WRMI put us over into that slot. So that actually worked out really nice. I know we've been having some propagation on the days that the regular 15770 kilohertz is going out at 2300 UTC. So it's good to hear from you, Adrian. Keep those messages coming so I can be aware of how reception is going out over there to Malta. Next, we have Terry from Spring Hope, North Carolina, and he reports that I'm listening to your program right now on 15770 kilohertz on my Texan PL330, which is a really nice radio. The sound is really good, some static in here, but I'm able to hear you indoors without any extended wire antenna today. And then he also wanted a broadcast schedule, which I did send. You can also check on our website at VOSRinternational.com. Our schedule is right on the front page. As soon as you pop on the page, it shows up there, and it tells you the days and times and frequencies that our broadcast goes out on. Thank you for the email, Terry. Next, we have Mohammed from Pakistan, and he reports a SIO of 433. So not very strong. It was only a fair reception on our frequency of 3975 kilohertz out of Germany. Hopefully I'll be able to catch us again when the propagation conditions are much better. Thank you, Mohammed. Next, we have Leslie from Bremerhaven, Germany, and they caught us on 3975 kilohertz out of Germany on December 25th, right on Christmas Day. And it was coming in pretty good, and they were able to pick up our show on an SDR. And writes here, I could not listen to you on my own equipment because of a rather long skip on 3975 kilohertz. My location is about 130 miles from the transmitting site, and it should improve during the springtime. So hopefully they'll be able to keep listening through the SDR, and then hopefully on regular equipment during the spring. Thank you for your email, Leslie. Next, we have a message from regular listener Carrie from Finland. Very nice reception here in Finland via Kiwi SDR, which is located in our remote listening station close to Lahti. It is using a Super KAZ antenna. And then we have a friend, Harry, that also is listening to us on 3975. And also writes here that Carrie did receive the QSL card. And so it took a little under a month. It was probably over 3 weeks. It did take a while to get that from Molokai, Hawaii, over to Finland. But it is in Carrie's possession now, and I'm glad you let me know. Thank you for the email, Carrie. Next, we have Charles from Lawton, Michigan, and he reports that he was listening to us on 9455 kilohertz using a PAR N-Fed SWL antenna. RX is an AOR 7300. Comments, nice show. Charles did send a picture of his rig, so I did put that over on our website at VOSRinternational.com. You can go over there, click on the listener radio page, and you can check out all the radios that everyone is using to catch the show. Next, we have Justin, a regular listener from South Central Wisconsin, and listening on 9455 kilohertz with a G90 with a GRA 7350 TC. and they're having some frustrating RFI problems over there at his location. And with the holidays, been busy trying to catch the broadcast on Monday. Might be a little bit better, so he's going to try that. He writes that he really enjoyed the segment on the Hindenburg. Must have been a sight during that first year of flight. That I do agree. Seeing those pictures on the Hindenburg, making those trips over the year before the disaster is truly amazing. Thanks for the email, Justin. And next we have Jeffrey, and he writes, I am listening to you now with a 203-foot random wire antenna about 25 feet in the air, hooked up to a Yaesu FT991A, and he says that we are coming in clear mostly, some QRM sliding in and out, especially when you give your website. You are now broadcasting the audio from the Hindenburg crash. Thank you for broadcasting. Thank you for the email, Jeffrey. Next, we have Alan from Ridgely, Tennessee, and he writes that he saw the post that I put out on Facebook today, and he received us on 15770 kilohertz, and this was from January 3rd, 2026. The signal was 5.9 to 5.10 plus on his Yaesu FT1000D and a homemade dipole. Thank you for the email, Alan. And I do try to put reminders out on my Facebook page at VOSR International. You can go over there and join the group and check us out over there. I'll put reminders a few hours before the broadcast is going out. I try to do that on Reddit, and I post it on a few other Facebook pages too. I put it on Instagram also, and then I do it on my YouTube channel, Wavecrest Guy. So I try to send out some reminders before the show is being broadcast. Next, we have Rex from Lakeland, Florida, and we've been messaging back and forth, and he's been trying to pick up the show, and he tried to pick it up on in January 3rd here on 15770 kilohertz, and he's listening on a Sony ICF 2010. So far, he hasn't had much luck. And I think part of the problem, I get some emails from people living in that area. They're too close to the transmitter sometimes, so that could be a problem. But then again, it could be some propagation also. So keep trying, Rex. Hopefully, you'll be able to pull us in. Otherwise, you can always go to a KVSDR or head over to our webpage and listen to our broadcast after they are aired. And next, we have Daryl from British Columbia, Canada. He writes that he tuned in last night at 9455 kilohertz. It was barely legible, and for about as is 15,000 today. He's trying to pick us up on 15770 kilohertz also, and same issues there. He enjoyed what he caught last night anyways. It was good programming, and he was using his PL330 and an amazing PAR0DT mini whip. So he said I should Google that up and check it out. So I will do that. If anybody out there has one of these PAR0DT mini whips, let us know and let us know how it's working out for you. And next we have Chris from Columbus, Ohio. And he writes there, I'm listening to your show on January 3rd, 2026 on 15770 kilohertz. I'm so excited to be listening to your show. It's great. This is exactly what shortwave listeners need. So he is about 12 blocks north of Ohio State University, and so there's a lot of people there, so there's a lot of power, a lot of RFI issues, but he's lived in the area for a long time. And he also writes, and Chris and I have been sending emails back and forth, and hopefully you'll be hearing from Chris, and he'll be on the air here soon in the next coming broadcast. He was, it's got an interesting story. He got his ham ticket and have always been a shortwave listener since he was 10 years old. In April of 1986, I found an old ham radio in the trash. I took it home. My father explained what I had. I turned it on, and my father found a piece of copper wire and a piece of telescope attached to the telescopic antenna. He tuned around, and he heard the BBC World Service reporting on the nuclear meltdown at Chernobyl. It was about late April of 1986. So really neat story there. And then he also goes on, since then my life was surrounded by shortwave. I lived all over the world and always listening. And then current radios are an Eaton E1XM, a low HF 225 Europa, and a Radio Shack DX394 that is had many modifications and improvements. He also has about 30 other portable and classic radios. And then he also, this is the interesting part, he also wanted to tell about the Wellbrook 1530 LNP magnetic loop antenna. He has one of these, and I'm not going to go into too much detail with this, but there's a lot of interesting information about this that will be coming up on future shows. So, thank you, Chris, and hopefully we'll be hearing from you soon. He also sent pictures of his antennas and his radios in. He's got a really nice setup, a really nice radio room. Go over to VOSRinternational.com and check that out. And if you have any questions, feel free to send us a message, and we can get together with Kiss and answer those on the air. And next we heard from Paul from the Canary Islands. And he's trying to listen to our show on 1570 kilohertz, and but the reception has been tough, and the reception propagation has been really tough for the last 6 weeks or so on 15770 kilohertz, especially on the Saturday at the 2300 UTC. But he did go over to and found a Kiwi SDR. He was looking over in Miami, and it didn't come in very good. Some Kiwi SDRs there. He did find one in Canada. That really had good reception, so he was able to pick us out that way. So great. Thank you for being a regular listener, Paul, and thank you so much for the email and keeping me up to date on how the conditions are, reception conditions to your area. Next, we got an email from David from Concord, California, and he was able to pick us up on an SDR. Sadly, right now his shortwave antenna is down. And hopefully he'll be able to catch us in the future and catch us live on the air and become a regular listener. Thank you for the email, David in Concord, California. Next, I got a message off of Facebook from Jeffrey from Knoxville, Tennessee. And he was listening to us on 15770 kilohertz. And he used one of the reminders that I put out before the shows are broadcast. Thank you for letting me know, Jeffrey. Then another message off of Facebook from Andrew in Hyde Park, New York, listening to our broadcast out of Florida on an old Grundig Satellite 6000. Those are great radios. I do have the Grundig Satellite 800 Millennium myself, and it's an excellent radio and one of my favorites to use. Thank you for the message, Andrew. Next, we have Scott, actually from Morgantown, West Virginia, and he replied through Facebook also, and he actually puts out the show on Hope Radio in Palau, and I've caught that broadcast a few times and sent him reception reports on that, so he's returning the favor. It's the first time he was able to catch us. He said he's not in Palau, but he is in Morgantown, West Virginia. But thank you for the message, Scott. Next, we have Jonathan from Venice, Florida, and he's listening on a Texan PL990. And he writes that he gets about every WR on my channel. And I did let him know that I'd be giving him a shout out. And he replied that he laughed when he heard that. It reminded him of the Christmas Story movie when the little boy was listening to the radio every week for a secret message, and only to find out it was a advertisement to be sure to drink your Ovaltine, and that's a classic that I'm sure everybody remembers. But thank you for your message, Jonathan. That was actually through Facebook also. Next, we have another message through Facebook, and this one is from David, and he was receiving us from north of France. And he just wanted to report that he was getting the show and said good evening. So thank you very much for listening, David. Then we have regular listener John from Gold Canyon, Arizona, and he was listening on 9455 kilohertz, and the SINPO is 45444, and listening that night on his Eaton Elite Field with an MLA 30 plus and active and loop antenna. And John has a ton of really nice radios, and he has sent some pictures in, and I do have those on our website. John's a regular listener and posts quite a bit over to our Facebook page at VOSR. And so if you are on Facebook, go over to VOSR International and join the group. And you can also post some reception reports there. All right, that's going to wrap up our mailbag segment. It was actually quite long. We had a period there where propagation wasn't very good, and I wasn't getting quite a few emails. But then all of a sudden, at the start of the new year, right at the end of 2025 to going into 2026, things definitely looked up, and the propagation was a little bit better, and it started to get quite a bit more communications coming in. So that's great. Keep the messages coming in. Don't worry if you're sending them all the time. It's always really good for me to know how propagation is and how this signal is getting out. Otherwise, I'm not going to know. So feel free to send in the emails anytime you can. And again, I can always give you a shout out. If you're new to communicating to us, I will put a pin on our listener map over at VOSRinternational.com. You can go over there and check it out. I have a map, and I put a pin on all the locations from listeners who send in emails. And then you can also send in pictures of your rigs, of your radios, your radio room, and I get those put on the website also. So keep the communication coming, keep the reception reports and comments coming in. Send us an email at VOSRINT@yahoo.com. That's VOSRINT@yahoo.com, or head over to our website at VOSRinternational.com, and you can click on the mail icon and send us a message that way. And now on to an equipment segment. And this one is some classic equipment. I'm going to go over the R46 series of speakers from Helicrafters. Now, if you've listened to my program before, you know that I have a Helicrafters SX71. I also have a SX100. And when I got the SX71, while I mostly listen on using headphones, being here in the condo, and I listen late at night a lot, so I don't use speakers as much, mostly using headphones. But I did want a speaker, and I wanted a period speaker to go along with the receiver, because I sometimes do broadcasts of my receptions, and I will go ahead and post those on my YouTube channel, Wavecrest Guy. So I ended up, researching Helicrafters. I have the book that I reference all the time, Radios by Helicrafters, from Chuck Dachis. And so looking at this, I decided that I wanted to get one of the R46 type speakers. The R46 speaker, the original one, came out in 1950 and was produced through 1954. Originally had a price tag of $19.95, and is a rather large speaker. Speakers during that period were pretty large for these receivers, which does make sense. It was more of a stereotype equipment, that we think of stereotype equipment today anyways. And it had a 10-inch speaker with a 5,000 ohm matching transformer in a tabletop steel cabinet for use. And this one was matched for the SX62, the SX71, the SX73, the SX88, and others. And then also there was the R46A, and that one was manufactured towards the end of the R46 manufacturing from 1954 to 1955. That initial price was $17.95, so a couple dollars cheaper. And it is the same as the R46, except there is no transformer. So it was for the 3.2 ohm use, used with the SX62, the SX100, the SX101, the SX101A, and others. And then lastly, and this is the one that I ended up getting, is the R46B. And this was manufactured from 1955 to 1959. And this one had the price of $7.95. It is the same as the R46A, except the cabinet is about 4 inches shallower for the use with the SX62B, the SX96, the SX99, and the SX115, and others. So that's the one I ended up purchasing. Sometimes it's hard to find these, of course, being about 70 years old and in pretty decent condition. So I was able to pick one of these up, and I did find one. And again, it is rather large. Now, I am going to have some pictures of it on our website over at VOSRinternational.com. You can go over there and check it out. I'll have a page specifically for this segment. And I'll have some links to videos where you can actually hear it in operation, and you can listen to it. It actually is a very nice sounding speaker, especially for its age. I'm really happy with it, and of course the looks fit the period. Now I did a segment before on the R47, which is a much smaller 4-inch speaker that I have. I actually hooked that up to my SX100. Again, for a small package, it still sounds pretty good, and basically I'm only using it, for doing some recording on some receptions that I'm picking up. But I wanted to pair the R46B with the SX71. I think it is a better match. I think it looks they look pretty good together, so I'm really happy with those. One thing about getting this. When I did purchase it, the shipping was actually pretty cheap, especially coming to Hawaii. It was only $20, and this is a fairly big speaker. It's about 15 inches wide, about almost 11 inches tall, and about 10 inches deep, I believe. So it's actually quite a large case, quite a large speaker to begin with. But I had to wait almost a month for this to come here, which was fine. I get used to that. With shipping to Hawaii, but it did take quite a long time. And when I first got the R47, its wire that was hooked up to it had a 3.5 millimeter plug. So I was basically plugging that right into the headphone jack. And one nice thing about having the 3.2 ohm speaker, matched to the receiver, is that I have the speaker cable plugged, attached right to the back of the receiver. So now when I turn it on, I automatically get the speaker, and then when I plug the headphones into the headphone jack, it automatically cuts off the speaker, and I just listen through the headphones. So it's much more convenient, especially when I'm doing recording or just doing general listening. That I have the speaker on, and it shuts off automatically when I plug the headphones in. So really nice, really convenient, works great. So all in all, yes, if you can find one of these, I do recommend it if you want to try to keep your setup period, which is what I was trying to do when I first started looking for these. And they do have quite a few speakers, and them being so old, sometimes it's hard to find the period piece that you want. But if you're patient, again, me living here in a small island in Hawaii, I don't have the opportunities to go to any ham fests or get-togethers, radio outlets, anything like that. So I am very limited pretty much to what is available online for sale. And but actually, I thought I did pretty well on this. For the condition this one was in, I got it for $50, so I'm really happy with it. They're out there. There are plenty of these out there. You can if you're on the mainland U.S., you could probably get these cheaper and probably in just as good a condition. In general, the speakers a lot of times are in better condition than the receivers at times. It seems. But keep your eyes out and be patient. You'll be able to find a speaker that you're looking for at the right period to be able to match it up to the receiver that you want. And that is one of the keys. So try to keep a period. If you like, you can always, just use any speaker and just send out hooking up. You have to make sure that the ohms are correct and everything, of course. But you can have much cheaper routes if you got something laying around that you can adapt and make work. I want to try to keep this period so it actually looks the way it was intended. But you certainly don't have to go that route. So let me know, do you have a R46B Helicopter speaker, or do you have any speaker, the R46 line, send us an email at VOSRINT@yahoo.com. That's VOSRINT@yahoo.com. Or you can head over to our website and click on the mail icon over at VOSRInternational.com. Next, I'm going to do more or less a programming segment, and this is just on some, listening that a lot of us doing SWL shortwave listening like to go back to from time to time, because you really never know what you're going to hear or what you're going to find on these different frequencies, and that is listening in on amateur radio, listening in on hams, and for that you are going to need a radio that handles single sideband. So that is going to be an important feature here to be able to do this. Now, some radios do not have that yet. Some of your lower end entry level shortwave radios don't have it. I would have to say it's in you get into about the $60 or $80 range where you'll start to see some radios have a single sideband where you'll be able to listen to amateur radio on. I don't think there's anything cheaper. You probably go with some SDRs. Some SDRs might be a little bit cheaper, and you might be able to pick up some that way. Then again, you can always go into web-based, go into a Kiwi SDR and pick it up that way also. So that would actually be a free way to do it, as long as you have a computer and internet access. So it is something. It's different. You're not joining in on the conversation, but you are hearing what they're talking about. Now, I had talked before in a segment months ago about some nets, which are basically time frames where groups get together, they register, and then they have one person that actually runs the frequency, and they go back and forth with conversations and try to communicate with other members in the net. And so if you can find one of those are nice, and you can also go online and check and find them. We do have one here as a 40 meter net for Hawaii, and that one is pretty active, and there's a lot of people on there, and I do try to catch that from time to time. It's really interesting, especially if there's something going on in some of the islands, and they'll end up talking about current events and things like that. But I'll get people from all over that way. I'll also run into a couple nets from the mainland U.S. Being out here in the middle of the ocean, I do get some conversations of some people that live in Hawaii, and they're actually talking to boats that have ham radios that are either going by or going through, and they communicate. And there are people that travel by boat quite a bit, and a lot of these people have talked before, and they'll talk about their adventures and where they're going, where they're currently headed to, that type of thing, where they came from. So you never really know what you're going to hear on some of these ham conversations. So it really is an interesting part of the hobby to be able to go to. Now, I know over on the mainland, a lot of people talk about 7200 kilohertz and how that is pretty much just a free-for-all. I haven't ever been able to pick that up. I've tried it in the afternoon, and I don't know if I think there is a more busy time for that, and I thought it was more towards the early evening, which would be more towards the afternoon for me. But I have tried different times, and I just haven't been able to pick up anything on 7200 kilohertz here in Hawaii. But I'll continue to try and see. But from what it sounds like, it kind of reminds you of if you remember the CB craze in the 70s, and people just interrupting each other, and just the language is something, and they just are talking about anything, and it can be kind of rude, and something you might not even want to listen to. But then again, on the other hand, there's times when it could probably be kind of humorous. But I haven't been able to catch that yet. But it is more or less just a free for all from what I hear But again, I haven't been able to pick that up here in Hawaii yet. So there are, depending where you're at in the world, there's going to be different frequencies that are going to be more active than others. And, there's some up in the 40 meter, and then there is in the 80 meter. Those seem to be the most active from what I've been reading. And again, I've only been doing the SWLing and DXing now for a couple of years, and that is one of the facets that I just kind of go over and I hit every once in a while. I'll hit it like once every couple of weeks, and especially if I'm just turning the dial and I come across a conversation, I'll go ahead and stand in and listen to. I do like a couple of the nets that I have found here, and I did. There's one currently on 7163 kilohertz that I pick up quite a bit, and that one's really interesting. And again, friends for a long time. So just talking about equipment that they have, equipment that they're replacing, what they're getting new, talking with friends on what they're doing in their radio rooms. It's really interesting to listen to some of that. So just another facet of the hobby that if you do have a radio with a single sideband that you can take advantage of. And it's one thing to keep in mind if you're just starting out and you're going to be looking for a radio. You might want to just make sure that you keep that in mind, whether you're going to want a radio with a single sideband to be able to listen to amateur radio. It might be not anything that you're interested in right away, but then again, it's something you might get into, and then you'll have to go ahead and drop another sum of money to be able to get that feature and be able to listen to it. So, definitely keep that in mind if you're just starting out, and that should be one of the things that you're thinking about when you're choosing your first radio. So, just a quick one here. Let me know if that's something that you listen to. Do you listen to amateur radio? Do you have a single sideband on your radios? Let me know. Send us an email. Send it to VOSRINT@yahoo.com. That's VOSRINT@yahoo.com. Or head over to our website at VOSRInternational.com and click on the mail icon and contact us that way. And now another segment of On This Day in Shortwave Radio History. January 1st, 2014, the Voice of Russia ends shortwave service. After decades as one of the world's most powerful international broadcasters, the Voice of Russia, formerly Radio Moscow, officially ceased its shortwave radio service on January 1st, 2014. January 1st, 1928, one of the oldest public broadcasting organizations in the Netherlands, AVRO, begins broadcasting, later becoming a staple of Dutch international broadcasting. Israel, January 1st, 1991. During the Gulf War era, special reports from Jerusalem and Tel Aviv were broadcast on 11605 kilohertz. It included the civil defense instructions for residents during missile attacks. January 1st, 1974, UTC adoption. On January 1st, 1974, the time standard station WWV, which broadcasts on shortwave frequencies like 5, 10, and 15 megahertz, officially switched from broadcasting Greenwich Mean Time, GMT, to Coordinated Universal Time, UTC. January 2nd, 1974, Radio Havana, Cuba, Fidel Castro broadcast. On January 2nd, 1974, Radio Havana, Cuba, recorded a significant speech by Fidel Castro commemorating the 15th anniversary of the Cuban Revolution. The speech was later rebroadcast globally on shortwave frequencies such as 11840 kilohertz. January 2nd, 1942, Manila is captured. During World War II, Japanese forces captured Manila on January 2nd, 1942. This event marked a major shift in Pacific broadcasting history as the Japanese military seized the local radio facilities to transmit propaganda and military communications across shortwave bands to the surrounding regions. End of CBS radio soap operas. January 2nd, 1959. CBS Radio aired the final episodes of several long-running soap operas, including Our Gal Sunday and Backstage Wife. While primarily a domestic AM event, these programs were often relayed internationally via shortwave overseas military personnel and expatriates. Radio Canada International Year in Review, a significant historical recording from January 4th, 1982, captures the shortwave listener's digest on 15325 MHz. The broadcast featured Glenn Hauser's review of 1981 and a review of the high-end Panasonic RF 9000 receiver. WBCQ high-powered antenna announcement. On January 4th, 2018, it was announced that Ampegan would install its first rotatable, high-power, 500 kilowatt shortwave array antenna in North America at WBC station in Maine. January 5th, 1990, KTBN begins transmissions. The shortwave station, KTBN Trinity Broadcasting Network, officially began transmissions from Salt Lake City, Utah. It became a major religious broadcaster utilizing high-power transmitters to reach international audiences. January 5th, 1940, the first FCC demonstration of FM radio. While primarily known as a milestone for FM, the FCC heard the first transmission of high-fidelity FM radio on January 5th, 1940. This was a pivotal movement for the radio spectrum, as Edward Armstrong's demonstration of a static-free signal that it would eventually challenge shortwave and AM dominance for the domestic broadcasting. January 6, 1978, Radio Moscow space coverage. Radio Moscow broadcast a news bulletin on January 6, 1978, reporting on day 28 of the Soyuz 26 mission, where Soviet cosmonauts were living aboard the Soyuz 6 space station. January 8, 1989, death of Emperor Hirohito. Radio Japan, NHK World broadcast an extensive coverage of the death of Emperor Hirohito. Recordings from this day captured the transition from regular music and news to official announcements regarding the end of the Showa era. January 11th, 2015, Radio Berlin International's final D Extra episode. The penultimate English broadcast of East Germany's former international voice, Radio Berlin International, took place on this day in 2015. This broadcast included the final episode of the popular DX program, D Extra, which had served the shortwave listening community for decades before the station's ultimate secession. January 12, 1926, the two-man comedy series Sam and Henry debuted in Chicago's WGN. 2 years later, the show was renamed Amos and Andy and became one of the most popular programs in radio history, eventually reaching a global audience via shortwave relays. January 12, 1976, Spanish withdrawal from the Sahara. On January 12, 1976, Spain officially began withdrawing its troops from the Spanish Sahara. This geopolitical shift was documented by shortwave listeners monitoring Radio Sahara. And that concludes this segment of On This Day in Shortwave Radio History. And now to finish out, I'd like to go over our schedule. And I'm going to be doing this from time to time because the schedule is going to change with the seasons. WRMI moves around their scheduling and their frequencies when they're with the change of the season, and they come out in the spring and the fall and the winter. And so there, from time to time, there are going to be some scheduling changes. So I want to make sure that everybody is kept on top of what when the broadcasts can be going out and what times. So to start out, we are on Mondays at 1600 UTC on 15770 kilohertz, broadcast through WRMI out of Okeechobee, Florida. So that is our first broadcast of the week is on Mondays. And that was added to WRMI's winter schedule. And then next, we are on Thursdays at 1900 UTC on 3975 kilohertz, and that is from Shortwave Gold, broadcast from Lower Saxony, Germany. So that is our second show during the week. And then we are on Saturdays at 0200 UTC on 5850 kilohertz, and that again is WRMI out of Okeechobee, Florida. And then right after that, we are on again at 0300 UTC on 9455 kilohertz, again from WRMI. And then lastly, again on Saturdays, we are broadcast at 2300 UTC on 15770 kilohertz through WRMI out of Okeechobee, Florida. So for right now, that is our schedule. Those are all the days that we are on. So we have a few different frequencies you can pick up. We are having some luck with the 5850 broadcast. We're getting some different listeners. That being on a little bit earlier. We are having a really good response from our 3975 broadcast out of Lower Saxony, Germany on Shortwave Gold. Get a lot of different listeners from all over Europe. So that one, for being a 1 kilowatt transmitter, is really covering a lot of area. And then the roughest one for the last 6 or 7 weeks now has been 15770 kilohertz on Saturdays at 2300 UTC. That one, propagation hasn't been the best, so that one's been a little bit tough. But we have had good response to the 15770 kilohertz broadcast on Mondays at 1600 UTC, and that one is being heard in Europe and also going all the way down to Australia and New Zealand. So we've been doing pretty good there. So I will go ahead and update us if there are any changes. I'll let you know. I'll also be putting it on our website at VOSRinternational.com.
And that concludes our broadcast. Be sure to catch our broadcasts every Saturday at 0300 UTC on 9455 kilohertz, and also on Saturdays at 2300 UTC on 15770 kilohertz, transmitted by WRMI Radio Miami International from Okeechobee, Florida. We are also broadcasting on Thursdays at 1900 UTC on 3975 kilohertz, transmitted by Shortwave Radio in Lower Saxony, Germany. Until next time, ahoy ho everyone.